Why don't we head down? Now, this was recorded he's building his deck right now, so this just finished. We're going to watch Fabrizio's entire draft right now. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, you can see what's happening here, Randy, is he's holding up a card here. It looks like a Hinterland Logger. And this is going to be happening around the table. And as you see Fabrizio lean forward, what he's doing is he's getting an angle on the other cards. Now, this matters, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, Hinterland Logger, not generally a first pickable card here, but if he had opened one, you know, his opponent, the player on his left, the player especially on his right, is going to be looking to see, well, what colors are you in?
By the way, the biggest news with these opens, Sanchez opened an Arlencord.
Ooh, hello.
So, yeah, Tuda and Terry's right. That Arlencord is going to get windmill slammed into Sanchez's pile. Steve Rubin on his right. I actually opened a Village Messenger, so that's information that Fabrizio has at this point. And let's see what else we know. Brad Nelson on his left opened Thraben Gargoyle. So Village Messenger, Thraben Gargoyle, not super relevant. But that Arlencord, 2 to his right, means he's probably going to not want to be...
Oh, jeez, hello.
Yeah, he didn't want to be red-green anyway.
Yeah, so he's found a Nahiri the Harbinger has Fabrizio and Terry. There was also a deadweight in the pack that was the current front runner until he got to the Nahiri, and then it went away.
Indeed.
Wow. All right, so Planeswalkers all around here. So you said 2 to his right, there was an Arlencord open.
Yeah, the other interesting thing that happens in this first pick with the double face cards, Raph Levy first picked Skin Invasion. Now, he's all the way on the other side of the table, but, I mean, Skin Invasion's not a great first pick, but the signaling is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're Raph Levy, you've got Alexander Hayne on one side of you, you've got, you know, all these great players, Brad Nelson 2 to your right. He just wanted to signal. So he took Skin Invasion first pick, and, yeah, just hoping people would stay out of his way. He's also, you know, a couple away from the Arlencord, so he should be able to sort of set up. Maybe there'll only be 2 red drafters. I thought it was a pretty smart pick for Raph. I don't know what else was in his pack, to be fair, but I mean, you can kind of see the thought process.
I mean, you got to figure he gave up something, right? I mean, I think Skin Invasion's solid, but
right.
Surprised to see it first.
I think the signaling is pretty valuable.
For sure.
All right, so Fabrizio's picking up a pack that we know includes a Village Messenger. We don't know what else is in it.
Looks like maybe they had a...
Yeah, there was an issue on the floor. They were drafting synced up with the entire room, and there was a little bit of a delay after the first pick.
Yeah, oftentimes we'll have our featured pod separate. They'll be on there. They'll have their own judge, but sometimes they sync them up with the rest. And, you know, of course, we do time drafts here on day 2 of GP, so there's a judge that's calling out over the loudspeakers. You can't hear them because there's no sound for the draft, but they will call out exactly when you can look at your cards, when to draft them, how many cards you're going to be passing to your left. It's very regimented just because, you know, there's a lot on the line here. All right, so this puts us in to the second pack, and it looks like Howling Wolf here. Is that what he wants?
Are we going to see the signal play? Village Messenger. He wants to be red-white, right? We know he's got a Nahiri.
Yeah, it's the problem with Village Messenger is that it's so bad. Like not only is it just sort of mediocre as a card.
Is this the 1/1 hasty guy, right?
Yeah, and it becomes a
bad.
menace.
Like
I find it. Anyway, and here's the thing. He's got a Planeswalker, right? He's got himself a Nahiri, and I think he'd prefer to have something that could block a little bit better. He's going to take the
Dauntless Cathar is a better pick. That's fair. Dauntless Cathar is just enough better than the Village Messenger.
Exactly. But he could send a message. It's true. By taking it. And, you know, you'll see that depending, like, if the card was just a bit better, maybe he would have made that distinction.
I think the fact that the Village Messenger, on turn 1, it just always flips.
It flips almost every time.
They never have a play. They never have a 1-drop.
If you're on the play, yeah. If you're on the draw, it'll often
even on the draw,
not
like
flip.
they only have a 2-drop, maybe half the time?
2/3, maybe not, yeah.
Okay, Town Gossipmonger is a better card, and now it's a third pay. He did not hesitate. And note there's value in that, too. See how quickly he took that pick?
Yes.
That means that the people on either side of him got the information that he was taking a Town Gossipmonger before they made their third pick. So, yeah, he saw the Town Gossipmonger coming, and I think quick scan, slam it on the table, get that information into the eyes, into the heads of your neighbors as quickly as possible. These are just dynamics that don't really exist in other formats that are going to be a feature for Shadows. It's pretty interesting.
Saw a Tooth Collector in that pack. It's a nice one as well, though.
Yeah, he's passed Dead White Tooth Collector to his left.
Collector.
There should be a really happy Black Maiden on his left.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's he feeding? Oh, he's feeding Brad Nelson.
Ooh, there's a Paranoid Parish Blade. That's a nice little pickup for him here. Another Gossipmonger as well. Yeah, I think the Parish Blade's probably better, but
it is.
Things get interesting, right?
The signaling value is...
Yeah. There's also a Stone Quarry, which gets also kind of interesting as he could consider going for
And he takes the double face card.
He does.
And you and I both think the Parish Blade's a little bit better.
I do think it is a bit better, yeah. I mean, again, you know, I look at when I have a Planeswalker in my deck, and I mean, it looks like he's fine. You know, you can be aggressive with Nahiri. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But remember the Incited Rabble must attack each turn. Like it's
true.
Once you get that thing transformed, it's rumbling. But yeah, maybe the tiebreaker ends up being the signaling again.
I think so. I think absolutely.
You're putting a lot of faith in the people to your.
Oh, look at this
left,
table.
though.
You can.
I think
it's
so
Brad
too.
Nelson.
I'm just wondering how many people think that Incited Rabble is red. Like the.
Oh well, he wants to be red-white.
I know it actually
works
well
both ways.
That's pretty funny. Halpak Wolf,
yeah, solid.
The most solid card here, but another very aggressive card, considering especially that he's going to have a pretty tough time blocking with that. He's got
true.
Not a lot of wolves and werewolves.
3/3 can't block for 3 is still a solid creature though. Red doesn't get
3/3
for 3.
I agree. And I've played that card a few times now, and every time I have it on turn 3, I feel like, okay, well, this is getting in for a lot of damage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, better in green-red, but fine everywhere. Puncturing Light.
An Angel of Deliverance. Not
8
a
mana, though.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a bomb, but unfortunately, the 8 mana really is rough on Angel of Deliverance. Also, it doesn't have that immediate game-winning impact even when you do get to 8 mana. It's solid. I mean, it's a big flyer, and it has a nice upside, but that's such a tough sell to get to 8 mana.
I don't think you play it. I think
I don't think
just
so
too
either.
Much.
Yeah, I actually think the card's not very good. Even if you're playing a slow controlling deck, I don't think it's what you want. It's just too much mana.
Meanwhile, Puncturing Light is exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
The card's great. Yeah, it's hard to sort of...
Has he picked a red card yet outside of Nahiri?
Did the Gossip Mongers count?
No. All right.
No, he took the Wolf.
He took the Wolf. Okay, so he's got the Wolf, Nahiri for red, which are both... I mean, Nahiri's great, and the Wolf's eh.
Yeah, this is either Unruly Mob or Strength of Arms.
Yeah.
Strength of Arms.
I don't like the Mob, but...
I love one-mana combat tricks.
Fair. That is where you want him to be, and that one's very playable. I just don't prioritize them.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I like where this deck's at.
Yeah.
And I feel like the signaling value of this double face card is like he's getting past white now, where somebody might have moved in if they hadn't watched him take those 2 Gossip Mongers.
Mm-hmm. Here's a Militant Inquisitor for Fabrizio. There's a Dissension in the Regs, which is a card I do not like at all. I've heard a few people. Is that
the one where a
like
blocker fights another blocker?
Yeah.
It feels like you can blow somebody out, but it's so much
I have
work.
a pretty good life, but I don't wake up in magical Christmas land every day. It's not that good. There's an Inspiring Captain. I like that.
Yeah, somebody would have moved into white. If he doesn't take those Gossip Mongers face up, I feel like somebody on his right would have moved in. These white cards are by far the best cards getting past to him right now.
So an Indulgent Aristocrat there. It's a card.
It's Steve Rubin.
creeping up for me, that Aristocrat.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it wheeled here, but that is a card that I kind of have my eye on as maybe one that could be an overperformer in the set.
Steve Rubin is the drafter feeding for BTO, by the way. And yeah, Steve's absolutely paying attention. It's a little bit late for Warp Landscape.
Yeah, I would just snap that up here myself.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, because there honestly is still a chance that he ends up being white-green and splashes Nahiri. Like, the red cards that he has, it's not like he has a bunch of Lightning Axes and Fiery Tempers.
I also think that if you wind up with any Delirium cards in your deck, you play it in a 2-color deck. Like, as a Delirium enable, it's the only common land in the set. Like, just having a fetch land in your deck makes it significantly easier to get to Delirium.
Nothing really here for Fabrizio. Just going to take a Furtive Homunculus and pass.
And white's one of the cards that's most likely to give you cards with Delirium. Right? The Moorland Drifter. The Parish Blade that he passed, but it's also another reason I don't want to pass Warp Landscape to the guy I gave this late Parish Blade to.
True. Just going to snap up a press for answers here as he winds down pack 1. And yeah, this is an interesting spot for him. Hopefully we get a good look at the deck when he fans it out for his review period between pack 1 and 2. But I do, like, my gut says that if he wants, he could try to
splash
be
red.
white something else and splash the red.
It's not like he has something else. You're imagining him opening something in pack 2.
Exactly, or at least being open to that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think that being white-red is a solid default here, but if you look at his red cards outside of Nahiri, he has nothing that's really pulling him into red.
You're right. If he opens a bomb, that does make that Warp Landscape even more important.
Right.
Like, I would have taken it just off the Delirium consideration, but you're right. He could, if he opens a bomb in a non-white red color. He could switch in.
Yeah, it always gets awkward in this scenario because, red seemed like it was getting cut pretty hard here. Didn't really see a ton of it.
Fair. Well, there's an Arlen cord 2 to his right.
Exactly. And so the interesting part here, though, right, is that what that also means is that this next pack is the one where he's supposed to get good.
It's true.
Cards.
Yeah,
so he
Levy
may just stay the course and say, okay, in pack 3 I'm not getting much red, but I'll fill out the rest with white.
Yeah, Levy took that skin invasion, but there's 2 players between them, so both Nelson and Fleury should be passing red cards to Fabrizio. So yeah, if he opens a bomb, he can switch. If he doesn't, he can kind of figure he'll get some red. I think he's in a great spot.
I like his position here too.
Like his deck isn't. I mean, he's still got a lot of work to do, but he's well positioned.
Mm-hmm.
He
Look
set
at
up
that
a
table. My God,
it's crazy. Yeah,
recognize like most of the faces of that table.
This is quite the pod.
Oh man, that's funny. And we can't even see Ruben, who's just shy
immediately
of the
on the right.
Okay, so let's see. Looks like he's got a Solitary Hunter here as the card that he's opened. Not quite the pull that he'd want to pull him into green.
Town Gossipmonger in Nelson's hands on his left. Pious Evangel was opened by Ruben on his right.
Interesting.
Fleury got a Kindly Stranger. One of the better ones.
It is a very nice one. Let's see what he finds here, though. I'm really curious to see what direction Fabrizio goes from here. Stern Constable, Blood Mad Vampire. There's a Toppelgeist. Ooh, there we go, a Nearheath Chaplain. So this decision gets easy just because he isn't forced. Like the best card, probably just in the pack.
Wait.
See the rest. Yeah, is Nearheath Chaplain anyway. And so he's just incentivized to stay on course and take a white card, which is great. Again, there's no downside to this for him. He just gets to stay in his core color while still keeping the option open to branch out or just stay in red if that's what's there.
He might get a white card back, too.
He could.
There's both a Toppelgeist and a Moreland Drifter.
He would love to wheel that Drifter. Yeah, the Toppelgeist unlikely to wheel, but possible.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be kind of sick of it.
But I mean, the next white player is probably taking the Toppelgeist.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is why he's got a shot at the Drifter.
He definitely has a shot at it.
Now, he's about to get past another Gossipmonger, but signaling much less valuable now.
Maybe he's just all in on Town Gossipmonger. Maybe he's just spreading rumors like a madman here in Barcelona. Yeah. This has been a fascinating draft already. I love these situations where it's still not 100% which direction he wants to go from a big picture. He just knows that he's in white for sure, and he knows that he'd like to play that Nahiri if possible.
This is probably the last pack that could realistically send him another direction.
No, I think this will go pretty deep into this second pack, actually.
Really? Well, he's not going to get past bombs that are...
They don't have to be bombs, though. Like, he could just get a signal that something's open and move in. The truth is, though, that, like, he just keeps picking up solid white cards.
I hear White Humans is a good deck. I mean...
Agreed.
Thraben Inspector showing up in Constructed. Gossipmonger showing up in Constructed. He's going to stick to the Gossipmonger. Is Gossipmonger better than Thraben Inspector?
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Inspector a little better myself.
I think I do too.
But I think on like raw power level, the Gossipmonger is better. And I mean, tap my Gossipmonger.
It's the more aggressive.
He's going to tap 2 Gossipmongers to flip one of them. That's his third one. So now, he gets to have this curve where he's going to have a transformed Gossipmonger on turn 2, like a lot.
That's a good point. Fiery Temper. Nahiri's Machinations?
Wow, that's actually really interesting.
Great for him.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting. Yeah, he's just going to take the Fiery Temper. That was the decision. That was a branching point for him.
Okay.
Yeah, because if he wanted to go for the Machinations, then he's effectively saying, well, I'm red. And if he's going to take a red, an air quotes red card out of that pack, it should be Fiery Temper, yeah.
Are we sure?
I think so.
Fiery Temper's double red. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's just committing to red and white here. I think that's fine. Like, there's no downside to it. That's the card that you want to do it for anyway.
I agree he's committing to red-white. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly asking whether Machinations might be better than Fiery Temper.
Oh, that's interesting. I think Fiery Temper's just better.
It's more solid, but, he has the one deck in the format where Machinations is really good.
It will be very good in his deck, you're right. He also very well could wheel it.
That would be insane. You're right. He's never wheeling Fiery Temper, and there's some chance he'll wheel Machinations.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one deck that wants it.
Yeah, and it's his. There's probably not another one.
It's effectively a gold card in most scenarios. So here's an opportunity for an Unruly Mob or a Sanguinary Mage. He also could take an Ulrich's Kindred, but I think that Fabrizio's really viewing this deck as a low-curve, aggressive beatdown deck. And so, interesting, he's going to take the Sanguinary Mage. That is the more aggressive card. It gives him a little bit less punch in the later part of the game where the Unruly Mob can become a problem. Also, I like the idea of having Unruly Mob and Incited Rabble in the same deck. It's just all pitchforks and torches here, Fabrizio and Terry.
Flavor Judge approves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another Puncturing Light. Oh, Paris Blade.
Oh, hello.
Now, Drogskull Cavalry is good.
That one's really good.
That one, it's only 7 versus the 8-mana Angel we were just missing. I think Cavalry, he doesn't have the right deck for it, though.
He doesn't, does he?
I don't think I would play it in Fabrizio's deck. I would play it in, like, every other white deck in the format. I think Fabrizio is better off with a Parish Blade.
Yeah, it's funny because, I'm not opposed to playing, like, 1 6-drop in my aggressive deck just as, like, a release valve for flooding, but this is a lot different,
Puncturing Light you could make a case for. I don't think it's the Geist. I think I'd Parish Blade over Geist. He goes for the Angel.
Yeah.
Wow.
He goes for the Spirit. Spirit,
sorry.
I think that's interesting.
Metaphorical.
I mean, he certainly took the most powerful card in the pack.
He did.
That wasn't close. It does feel like not a great fit for this deck currently, though.
I think I would have taken Parish Blade.
It's funny because his 2 most powerful cards don't, go beautifully in this type of deck. He's got Nahiri and a Drogskull Cavalry, and they're both, like, fine. Yeah, she's fine. I mean, she doesn't, help you beat down. Uncaged Fury.
It's a 3-mana combat trick, but a damn fine one.
It's a game ender. He's going to take
double strike.
Yeah, I know that Fabrizio really likes the combat tricks in this format as well. We saw him build his sealed pool yesterday, and he played, I think, 4, and he was in the same color pair in red-white. And we watched him lay it out, and then I bumped into him actually at lunch, and I just said, hey, how many of those combat tricks did you end up running? He's like, all of them. I was like, wow, okay. And there were 4 different ones as well. There's an Expose Evil. That can do work for him, and he's got a Gatstaff Arsonist if he wants to pick up a 5-drop. Senseless Rage, somewhat of a combat trick in a way. He's just going to take the 5-ball here. I kind of like that.
Sure.
Yeah, this has just been a super interesting draft. The difference between, the Drogskull Cavalry and the Paranoid Parish Blade pick is so, like, I bet you in 2 weeks Fabrizio will have, because he clearly was hemming and hawing between that. Yeah, and I think in 2 weeks he'll know for sure
what the answer is.
Yeah, but at this early stage in the draft format, it's just not 100% clear, right? Like, there are some formats where, the chance that he curves out and just kills you actually isn't that high, and you really would prefer to have some big bomb at the top that can just bail you out of a game you were going to lose. And there's other times where it's like, no, you need to commit. Like, you're taking a 3-drop, you're not even looking at a 7, I don't care what it does. You're passing Karn, right?
That's a great point. Strength in numbers went to his pile very quickly there.
Okay.
It makes sense to me that you would want a bunch of combat tricks in this deck, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Moreland
Drifter. The Drifter came back.
Nice.
Yeah. I like it. You mentioned that he had the chance to wheel it. It came back. Now I really want to see if he gets back the Nahiri's Machinations.
Oh, my God. I guess Fiery Temper just is better. It's a ton safer. It's always going to do exactly what you want it to do.
He's also Removal Light.
He's Removal Light.
Yeah, he's leaning on those combat tricks pretty hard right now. Griff's Boon.
Oh, that's fine. I like Griff's Boon.
I like that here as well. The Unruly Mob's fine. Even the True Faith Sensor he could play. He is pretty dense on humans, but I think the Griff's Boon, is a really nice way to get that Incited Rabble up in the air for cheap.
Yeah, it gives you some reach.
Yeah.
It's just the 1 mana, suddenly I have a flying creature coming over for, 4 damage or something.
Right.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
Did it. Wow. So he got back the Nahiri's Machinations. That is sweet. I mean, like I said, it's funny because you look at the card and it's white, but it's actually gold. I mean, it just
gold.
is.
You're right. You're right.
And so people see it that way, and they're like, I'm not playing this thing. Unbelievable.
And, it really is only good in exactly this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This format has a lot of uncommon enchantments that work that way. Like I did a draft on Friday over at Side Events where I got Howlpack Resurgence 8th in pack 3. Like I'm green red werewolves. I have 15 werewolves in my deck.
You just picked up like your third best card.
I think it was my single best card.
It was just your best card.
I mean, whatever. Tireless Tracker was probably actually my best card, but it played amazing in my deck, and like no one else wants it.
Yeah.
And I got it, the 24th pack that I opened.
I like that. I like it when those good cards trickle down. So interesting here, though. Again, we were keeping an eye on Fabrizio and whether he could branch out of white into another color. He decided not to, but red's still not open. Like, the only really good red card he got was Fiery Temper out of this pack. He got no other removal at all, and he got a Sanguinary Mage and a Gatsaf Arsonist for the other 2 cards. He did get Combat Trick as well, but shrug, right?
Yeah, so he got Nahiri's Machinations.
And he got Nahiri's Machinations as a reward for effectively staying in red.
Yeah.
So it's working out.
I think his deck's great.
Yeah, and I don't think that there was any...
He gets another pack?
Yes.
Oh, come on, put the Machinations up into the deck. What are you doing? I'm not wrong about that card. That card's really good in his deck,
the card's
right?
really good. It's also especially good with creatures that can pump, like his 3 Town Gossip Mongers.
Right.
Because you can give it indestructible and attack, and your opponent's just like, great.
Yeah.
Where normally they'll block it and trade off and say, sure, whatever.
And if he's got enough red to play Fiery Temper, then he's going to be able to, how do they block when you can just deal 2 damage to whatever blocks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he has it in his sideboard. I think he's just...
I'd be really surprised if he ended up leaving it in his board.
Interesting.
And like you said, yeah, he does get another pack here, so things are getting...
I mean, his deck's almost done. You could play this deck.
You could. Yeah, so the things that he wants to look for now, I think primarily are he'd like a few more 2-drops, and I think he'd also really like to pick up some quality removal spells in this last pack. That's the kind of thing that you hope to have by now, and you always prioritize it, but he really is low on removal, and he could get by without it because his deck's so aggressive that the combat tricks are going to, after you force your opponent to block a few times, those tricks will usually get the job done. But it puts a lot of pressure on sequencing your draw and having a good curve, where if you could just find removal spells, it gives you a safety valve against anything.
Oh, God, I'm looking at the notes on double face cards, because obviously we can't really see them all here, so we had somebody write them down for us. There's going to be a... sorry, where is it? The Handwear Militia Captain is going to get opened on his left, and it's going to float away from him, the wrong direction. Winds
come
up going
back to me.
Yeah, winds up going 4th. Fabrizio just has to watch.
All right, so let's see what Fabrizio opens up out of this pack, and of course we're going to do this little song and dance with the double face cards.
Aberrant Researcher for him.
Okay.
This card's so perfect. It's one of the best.
Well, it's only perfect when you transform it.
Thanks. fair. It's kind of maybe a B+ on that one.
I love that card, though.
Yeah, no, the design is just so awesome. It's exactly what we would want in the Return to Innistrad.
Okay, so let's see what he picks up for his deck here. A Devil's Playground. Interesting, that's a rare he had yesterday in his sealed pool as well.
Which one is that?
It makes 4/1/1 Devils.
Oh, that one, sure.
Yeah. Sorcery speed for 6. There's also a Blood Mad Vampire, which would probably make the cut in his deck, but isn't exciting as he doesn't have a lot of...
I think you play Spectral Shepherd first, even though you can't activate it. I don't know. Vessel of Epiphany isn't awful either. But Devil's Playground seems like the pick.
Yeah, the Vessel of Ephemera.
Ephemera, sorry.
Yeah. I like your version better because it's a word I actually know. But all right, Devil's Playground, sure. So this deck is, perhaps creeping into more of a pounce on you quick and then kind of have some finishers down the line deck. It depends.
Yeah, the first pack and a half was all low drops. He's been flagging. Nahiri was the top of his curve for a while.
He had a lot of 1s. And now he's got a 6 and a 7 as well that are likely to make the pick. Or make the cut, excuse me. A lot of Uncaged Furies floating around. Another Blood Mad, and there's another Nearheath Chaplain as well.
Sure. Seems like the pick.
God, yeah, having 2 of those, that is great.
Yep.
Deck is so awesome.
Yep.
Or sorry, the card is so awesome. I
like the deck too.
I do too.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't have super bombs other than Nahiri. He had to watch as Ormondog at first picked here. Westvale Abbey.
The Westvale Abbey?
Yep. Pierre Dejean opened that. And
Did I tell you that I blocked Ormondal with Ormondal already in this format?
Nice.
Yeah. Opponent's like attack. I'm like, well, here we go. Make one, block it. But I had Declaration in Stone in my hand.
Wow. 633 players here on day 2, by the way.
Yeah.
After a little over 2,000 started.
Yeah, remember the cut is now 6-3 to make it into day 2.
Yep.
Used to be 7-2.
See a lot of depressed Pro Tour players out there at 6-3 trying to.
Another Drogskull Cavalry? Gosh. He's looking at a Stern Constable. Man.
I mean, I would take True Face Sensor over Stern Constable, but I think you just take Cavalry.
I think so too.
I mean, I don't know how many of them you play. Like 0, 1, and 2 all seem like options. Like if you can play one, can't you play a second?
That would mean he'd have 2 7s and a 6.
What's the 6?
For the Dance with the Devils.
Is the Cavalry better?
What's
you
it
could just
called?
have.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think the Devils is probably better in his deck. He just can't bring himself to do it.
True Fate Sensor's solid.
Yeah.
It seems fine.
It's got a lot of humans. It's going to work really well for him.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, you know, it's funny because, you know, when I think about a deck like this and I'm picturing it in my head and I'm starting to think of the highs and the lows and the things I like and the things I don't, I always come to the middle. Like, the really great cards I tend to just not
Graven
think
Inspector,
about.
by the way, yet another 1-drop.
Okay. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, the white rare he wanted was always watching. Just have the constructed humans deck, right?
Totally. But I always come to the middle on these decks, you know, the mid to high cards. And, like, he's got 2 Nearheath Chaplains in this deck. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, those 2 cards are fantastic. Mid-game and late game. Very difficult to deal with. Yeah, I think Fabrizio's mana is going to be quite good here, too. Another Inspector if he wants it. What was the double face card there? Oh, Convicted Killer. Meh.
It's just an Inspector, right?
Yeah. Man, is he going to play like 5 1-mana creatures in this deck?
Inspector is working out great.
That card has definitely bumped up, I think, in most people's minds. It certainly has in mine.
Yeah.
Like, it went from to, no, that's playable. Like, you can play that card. And when you're trying to get your incited rabbles going,
yeah. I mean,
make that as consistent as possible with a low curve of 1-drops. Also, they're all white. I think Fabrizio's mana is going to be quite good in this deck.
Yeah, he's going to have to play enough red to support Fiery Tempers, the tricky bit.
Yep. He does not currently have.
Machinations also wants multiple red, even if it doesn't require
I think Inspiring Captain looks great here.
Agreed.
I think that's just exactly what he wanted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great.
All these random 1-drops now just get bigger. Wow, I really like Fabrizio's deck. So we're going to be watching Fabrizio play in the first draft round here.
Yep.
And I'm going to predict that we're going to be watching him play in the third draft round here as well.
You know what? I agree. The deck's great, and he did open Nahiri. I mean, that isn't a thing that he controlled. But I got to say, that third pick Gossip Monger, I think was actually the key to this draft. He signaled heavily, I'm white. He took that card third and then took another one fourth or something, if I remember. Oh, my God, there's another Cavalry. Inspire the troops.
So another Inspiring Captain.
Captain
Gosh,
Cavalry.
yeah,
sorry.
It's just interesting because
there's a limit to the number 4 drops. He's going to play the 2 Nearheath. 2 Nearheaths, 2 Captains. That works. Oh, Nahiri.
Nahiri as well.
That seems fine.
I think you do. I don't think I would take Strength of Arms here. I think I would take the Inspiring Captain.
I would too.
I can see why he's thinking. I mean,
same. I get
the same little bells went off in both of our head at the same time about how many 4s do I really want. But I do think that is a particularly good 4-drop in this deck. With his
right, it's not like it's a random 4. It's actually a very, very good 4.
Exactly. Poor Unruly Mob.
There's a lot of them. Yeah. Anyway, those Gossip Mongers though, I feel like somebody on his right would have moved in. This white is just wide open. We saw it in pack 1. He was getting past late good white cards. We're seeing it here again in pack 3, and it's not like he read the draft. Oh, white's open, therefore I'll move in. He opened it himself. He forced it from the left, which isn't a thing you're supposed to be able to do in booster draft. Like, you're not supposed to be able to control what the people on your right are drafting, and he did.
It is a feature of the format. Oh, Spectral Shepherd.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Windrake, but that's fine.
No, I just think it's funny that there's another unruly mob at the back, and he's seen like 8 of them. Not that I think he should take them.
No, Flavor Judge would take them.
Yeah.
This is Flavor Draft. You'd need all of them.
Yeah, you want the whole rabble going, but... Well, so he's got a lot of chaplains, but I don't think he wants the blessing here.
So does he get an A for both the draft and the deck?
I give him, I think his deck is an A-, probably. Like, remember, he did never find any more hard removal, which you would expect him to have 2 to 3 pieces of kill that creature.
Is like strength in numbers.
Yeah, he just needs to leverage those, which is fine. That is a perfectly reasonable strategy. I'd give him like
Magmatic Chasm's
B+,
not a bad sideboard
on drafting, I think. Like, it kind of came together for him. I can't fault him for it. But he opened Nahiri, pushed into white, and he gets credit for that, right? Because like you said, he threw out the signal, and then just kind of stayed there, right? I mean, not much really happened. I don't think he faced any huge decisions after that. Tell you what, I'm jealous of this deck, though.
Same.
I wonder how important it is that he played the same color pair yesterday. Just card familiarity. I mean, he's drafted a bunch, I'm sure, with Team Eureka, but
probably not a bunch. Like, what's a bunch at this point?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what I mean. Like, I just mean like
the set went on sale 8 days ago.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people that test on Magic Online. You and I would be in that group.
Right.
It just went up on Friday as well, so not a lot of testing. But that is going to do it for Fabrizio and Terry's draft here. Great stuff from Fabrizio, and I can't wait to see how this deck does.